All right, JaiBhim and Namaste everyone. Good morning and good evening to the folks. Thank you for making some time to join this another Ambedkar lecture series by Boston Study Group. I will just quickly introduce the Boston Study Group. Then Harita, she is also a long time BSG member. She will be the moderator and she will introduce our esteemed speaker Rahul today. We will go through some decorum also for this. For Boston Study Group is an Ambedkarite organization. We are almost 10-year-old organization this year. This organization was started by few students who was interested in Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar literature from the Brandeis University, and then it has grown a lot with a lot of we have a lot of members, students, a lot of people, diverse people from back in India, from different states. And we try to do this Ambedkar lecture series is our flagship event. We also have a digital magazine on our website for our Ambedkarite diaspora that we publish twice a year. Also, as part of this Ambedkar lecture series, the aim is to bring the intellectual people to talk about the social cause or the event or the about their organizations and the things that they are doing to impart our knowledge and to carry out the Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar principle to our diaspora. So with that, I will let Harita take over. Thank you, Harita.
Thank you, Hemant. JaiBhim, everyone. Before we get started, few words about the speaker. Dr. Dr. Rahul Sonpimple is a prominent social advocate, writer, political thinker, and academic dedicated to advancing social justice and empowering marginalized communities in India. Dr. Sonpimple founded the All India Independent Scheduled Caste Association in Nagpur with a vision of creating an independent cadre based movement and nurturing leadership at both grassroots and social levels. As the director of Savitribai Phule Resource Center in Nagpur, Dr. Sonpimple has established himself as a leading voice challenging caste based inequities and fostering social change. Welcome, Dr. Sonpimple, to today's Ambedkar lecture series.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ashita. Thank you very much. Yes, so shall we go? And shall we start?
Yes, we can get started.
Okay, fine. So thank you, everyone. And thanks to the Boston Study Group for allowing me to put my thoughts and our work, our collective work in front of all of you, in front of all the participants. And yes, and I'm really honored also to be here and for this opportunity. So yes, as discussed in our meeting prior to this talk, Hemant and me, we were discussing how I can present my thought here. And as this group is known for people who would present their ideas or their academic knowledge in front of you. Today, I'm not going to talk about any particular, let's say, particular academic topic or intellectual topic. Rather, I'm going to use this opportunity to present our work, which is basically the Savitribai Phule Resource Center. What it is, how it is, what is its core idea, and why we are working for it, right? So let me begin with the very brief introduction of Savitribai Phule Resource Center, which is basically the social, educational, and the cultural wing of All India Independent Scheduled Caste Association. So All India Independent Scheduled Caste Association is, let's say, some other organization, which is basically, the organization of mostly people like me who passed out from the university after PhD. Some of them who are working in different corners of countries. Some of them are working in Assam, some are working in Bengal, in Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Maharashtra, mostly in these parts. So we decided, looking at the present situation, where scheduled castes, in particularly in post-independent India, or even before that, have been a community which has directly and indirectly been associated with the welfare state, right? Because as we know, all of we know that how caste obstruct their mobility and their development. So it is a state which becomes ultimate, and the significant body to intervene at the ground and to unlock those barriers. And however, we also see the post 90s, the role of a state in the everyday lives of mostly the downtrodden community, and that too mostly scheduled caste, who in India is majorly a landless community. I mean, if you look at the numbers still, majority of scheduled castes, they still live in villages. They are not the part of urbanity in compared to so-called forward caste community, and therefore their livelihood or their everyday life revolves around the ruler or the rurality, or let's say, what do we call, the everyday aspect of a caste, and there the intervention of states becomes very important. However, as I said, post 90s, you see the role of state, Indian state has been significantly, decreased, or it has taken the withdrawal position. And how does it has taken the withdrawal position? It has withdrawn itself by privatizing local institutions, right? So you see, there is data, like, if you see, specifically after independence, you see during 60s to, let's say, till 90s, you see there is a increase in the number of education. There is an increase in the number of graduates from scheduled caste. There is an increase in the in the number of government jobs or the employment for that matter. However, post 90, you also see the decline in that number, right? You see, and how this is happening, the ultimate decline both in the administrative services or in the other formal employment. You see why this is a decrease, or why this this decline is happening, because the government institutions like schools. Now, Maharashtra is also one peculiar case, one of the early state in India who took this, who took the opportunity of new liberalism or the privatization, and started privatizing government schools. So I myself is a government school product. I guess not in this generation. I don't see many students going to government school, as there are not many government school left. And on the other hand, this government, and once you do not have a government school, you directly are basically impacting to those who cannot afford the private education or the private school, because there you require fees, and there you require, like, let's say, we all know particular kind of setup to enter into the private school, and therefore there is a continuous dropout among scheduled caste and also among scheduled tribe. And yes, then there are other downtrodden communities like nomadic tribes. Their question is, even still today, their question does not become the question of education. Their question is still mostly the question of survival with the nomadic tribe community. And this is not just with particularly in India with Pardi or one community, but this exists across. So, this is a case, and we also have seen the decline in the electoral politics. I mean, somewhere all of us had this dream with, let's say, with Bahujan Samaj Party or with Manavar Kanshiram Saab, who came up with this new political idea and the new political intervention, where he tried to form the lower caste majority as a Bahujan majority against the Savarna minority, the ruling minority. That worked in some part, but not in full sense, and that actually, also somehow became the dream, but that dream got collapsed, because as we also know that the electoral politics, not just in India but also elsewhere, mostly in the West, who Western countries who claims to be champion of democracy, are basically have not become the corporate democracy, where media mafia money matters. The one who has it, the one win it, right? And in India, we see the low caste communities or their political party do lack all these resources. At the same time, there are different ideological aspect of their decline, which I don't want to talk because that is not my topic today to discuss. I'm just giving you the context and the perspective that why we are doing this work. So people like me who passed out from the university but comes mostly from working class background, as our middle class mostly turns the blind eye toward the present situation. So all of us are mostly working class, come from the working class background. When I'm saying working class, there are in this our organization there are PhD graduate who are son and the daughters of landless laborer. Some are like so like that. So we realize this particular aspect of privatization of school, of government institution employment is basically impacting more among scheduled castes who are working class in villages and in the urban in slums and in other areas. So so what to do then? Like this is a big battle to say that we will come in the political power. Yes, of course, we all of us want to come in the political power, but this becomes impractical when you do not have resources. This become also quite burdenful when you say Bahujan, Bahujan, but at the same time, beyond scheduled caste, no other caste wants to accept that category because that category itself, rather than becoming the category of assertion, that in the caste society, every category which particularly scheduled castes or what popularly we say Dalits, they adopt any category, that category automatically becomes the category of stigma. Now, therefore, in Maharashtra also the Buddhist category has been associated. Your Buddhist mean this category has been associated with the untouchables. Now they do not identify you as particular like Mahar or Matang. They say, "Arey Buddhist means so that becomes the derogatory category for them. Even the color blue has become derogatory in many sense for them. So what I'm trying to say that in many ways, this in practical sense or in sociological sense, the very Bahujan movement, both at the local level or at the level of national level, has not worked or has not transformed the consciousness into what they call the Bahujan consciousness. So now, therefore, the burden lies to the most oppressed in our country who lack resources, who have a tiny minority, very tiny minority, who are educated, who are employed, and who also contribute to the movement. Therefore, there are not much resources. So what we decided, it is very important for us that the community who does not have jungle or jameen, they do not they do not hold this power of negotiation with the state or the political party, or even the numbers for that matter. I mean, in many states, scheduled castes do not even hold the sizable number to negotiate with the political party or the state, except 2 3 states, right? So what left for us is basically only one thing, that the first to emphasize on scheduled caste and to unite them. So ISCA, which is All India Independent Scheduled Caste Association, is bigger aim is basically to unite scheduled caste. That is first aim. Second is basically to identify the present ongoing problems of scheduled caste community and to campaign for that, right? Third is basically to create the mass mobilization of scheduled caste. That is the three major aspect that we are trying to build for coming 10 20 years. And in coming 20 years, as scheduled caste constitutes of India's, like let's say we have, I mean, when we say scheduled caste are more than 70%, I mean, if they count it really well, they are around 20% of this country. And if they are 20%, then they are roughly 22 crores of population of scheduled caste that exist in India. But what we see, we do not have a single organization who at least has a 5 lakh membership of one organization, or scheduled caste can organize their demands under one organization. So that is one aspect we are working. As I said, there are PhD scholars, writers, and now some people are into academics. They are part of this organization. And then there are local bodies also. This is one aspect. Savitribai Phule Resource Center is basically, as I said, it's a socio-cultural wing of ISCA. So what does Savitribai Phule Resource Center do? But before that, I'll also add one more thing, and then I'll go to SRC, which is Savitribai Phule Resource Center. We are also trying to build our own independent Ambedkarite media, where a new scholar can build a knowledge. And when I'm saying knowledge, knowledge, not just the endless pain of English speaking Dalit autobiographer just write, publish, and then consume that for the upper class or upper middle classes. We do not believe in that. When we believe in creating a very proper, constructive, scientific knowledge around caste, and we also treat caste mostly as a material question rather than just cultural and the question of identity. So with that aim, we started the Ambedkar Chronicle. In our first phase, we got a good cloud, we got a good response. As of now, we published around 100 new writers with the different aspects of the caste, and now we are aiming to make it a proper regular digital media platform, right? uh, so that process is going on. That also belongs to All India Independent Scheduled Caste Association. So yeah, so these two basically things we are doing. So yes, coming back to Savitribai Phule Research Center, we are an organization, and we say we are not an NGO. So we do not take grant from government or CSR or any support from them. Maybe we may take support in future by in other way, but not in terms of financial support. Because we believe that once you take support from these bodies, you also have to shape your goals and even the method accordingly. So we treat Savitribai Phule Resource Center as a movement. And what do? We say, okay, we do not have those that enough resources where like Pillani or some Bania or other people, they can have this wealth and create some Jindal or, other private school. What we say that we have a ground and we have public infrastructure. And what is that public infrastructure? At least in Maharashtra is a Buddha Vihara. So if you travel across Maharashtra, those who are not from Maharashtra, you see even in the interior slum, now we are working like in Mumbai or in Nagpur, even in the interior slum, one thing you will get, that is the Buddha Vihara. And that Buddha Vihara unfortunately also has become the place of, old people where mostly women will go, old women, and they will do Buddha Vandana. And then sometimes on some occasion men will go, and that too the mostly the old man. For the middle class Dalits, the Buddha Vihara has become a very passive, spiritual meditation seeking place where their children do not participate. They participate for one Sunday for meditation and so on, where they claim to practicing for a larger enlightenment, which I don't know how it works. Anyways, so what we decided how to use this public infrastructure for the most marginalized. So, we still do not have idea to open a big campus. We think that that is also not going to work. So what do? We, as I said, we use this Buddha Vihara. So we started using the first place in Buddha Vihara in Nagpur in Bejanbag area, where first we build a team and we categorize them. Now in this process of categorization, which I'm not going to speak much about the process of categorization, but what do? We also identify and train people who really think that the working for a movement is not going to hamper for their career, or they do not seek or see this as a career, rather they see as a part of a movement. So very mature trained people, we take a time, we make a team, and then with this team we first go to community, we mobilize people, we make them understand, we tell our things, and we develop the community support, and from community then we take 1 rupees, 5 rupees, 10 rupees, and that's how we build. So our first center we spent around 18 lakh rupees by collecting from different people, from friends, from local community, from rickshawala, from chaiwala, from domestic workers, like that. And in that sense, and fortunately many working class Dalit, they help more when you work in the ground than the middle class, because they maybe they understand it's important. A domestic worker women finds is much more important than the middle class Ambedkarite auntie who wants to send their children to abroad. So for this domestic worker, her daughter is getting some good education is a dream, and therefore they somehow support more on the ground. So we collect, so we make this team, we create a mobilization at the ground with our committed cadre, and then we start. What do? Then we do two things. One, basically we do give the regular coaching classes for free without any fees, or so what, that is simple for CUT exam or for any other entrance exam. That is the one thing we do. So what happened in our first experiment, around we had around 45 students, and from those 45 students, 40 students got selected in one go in Ajim Premji for different courses, and all come from very poor. I mean, like I remember many students even did not have enough money to fill the form or travel for the interviews or the first. So we arrange all these things for them. So with this thing, we decided, okay, this local thing works. The self-sufficiency or the dependency from the community can work with the condition if we work with the community. It takes a time to build a trust in community. It takes a time to tell the poorest of the poor that there is a hope for you still. Not much hope is left, we know, but there is still hope, and there are people who can build together. So, so with this hope, we decided, okay, this is working. If we put more effort, this can work more in better way. Then we moved forward, and then we reached to Gadchiroli. So Gadchiroli, not just in India, across like countries where the human right activists and the intellectuals are there, they know Gadchiroli is also known for as a Naxalite belt, a tribal dominated area, and also one of the backward region. And it's backward in many ways, specifically when it comes to Adivasis. We see even the school system and the ashram system has been collapsed. They have a big infrastructure, but no students. And even the students, those who are there, they hard, like there are very few students who can actually, mobile themselves in the existing socio-economic order or in the existing political economy of India. The skills, the language they require, they don't have it. Even the 10 or 12 students may hesitate even to talk 2 3 lines in English. So we started working there. So I personally travels. Today also I was traveling before this talk. I just reached before half an hour at home. So we travel there. Uh, uh, um, as I said, we created a team, and this team started working. And now in Gadchiroli, we have a first batch, around 12 students, mostly girls. They cracked different entrance exam for this year. They are waiting for interview. And what do? We take them. We also bring them from from Gadchiroli to Nagpur to Pune, just to show them that there is a world beyond those boundaries also. And as I said, the funding comes from people. More than funding, we say is contribution, support, pay back to society. From there, then we started one more center in Chandrapur. And then from Chandrapur, we started one more center in Bhandara. So Nagpur, Gadchiroli, Bhandara, and then Gondia. And from there, then we started one center in Pune, which is a very good center, very big center. And then we started one center in Chembur in Mumbai, and now one more center in Mumbai. New Bombay. And now we are moving. In this year, we have taken aim that in each district of Maharashtra, space not all Maharashtra, but mostly in Marathwada and Vidarbha region, where scheduled caste population means is mostly scheduled caste population. If you see there, it's there in the Marathwada and Vidarbha, and in Western Maharashtra in Solapur and Pune, so and Mumbai region. So we have decided in all these region, at least in district, we will have one center each in districts. So with this aim, we are working. Fortunately, we are getting good people at the ground. As I said, people are getting convinced. They are able to relate with us, resonate with us. So this is one. This is how this is the method we used, and this is the method we are going along. And now in the community, it's unfolding in very different way. So now community wants to connect more into the day-to-day process. They find this is something meaningful. So for direct community intervention, now we started one more activity. What is that? Sunday for Ambedkar. So this may sound little shallow, but we have taken this idea. I personally have taken this idea from the church. The church, mostly like Pentecostal church, which works at the ground, mostly they work with the working class, Dalits and Adivasis. So if you see at the ground, there's a rampant conversion. Our aim is not to stop any conversion, but our aim is basically how to how to create a community at the ground. As Baba Sahib said, the caste does not just break you materially, but caste also breaks you culturally. And when it breaks you culturally, first thing it does, it basically does not allow you to have the unit of family. And therefore, Baba Sahib was very pro to the family. And therefore, he said culture is very important to hold the family and to hold the community. Unfortunately, in post Ambedkar time, the educated Buddhists who use Buddha mostly as a most passive, more in a rigorous sense, as a simply as a person who does not hold any divinity. He's just for the meditation, right? So with poors, they seek for a larger master and the larger because they work for 18 hours just for to bread and butter for their children. When they come back, someone tells them, "Or Buddha to Bhagwan nahi hai." So even the Buddha cannot listen your pain. So you are alone everywhere. So there is alienation, there is lot of struggle. So what we started doing, at least for in a Sunday, where they generally don't get off, but whoever gets the off on the Sunday. So we basically started this activity Sunday for Baba Sahib Ambedkar, where we read some aspect of Buddhism, not just the very the so-called intellectual things, but we read those stories or those aspects which are related to the everyday life of everyday life, or that, or it has some resonance to the everyday life world. Then after that we eat together. So this very idea of eating together is very important, where we see the poorest of poor. Even if someone doesn't tell them not to eat with me, the system, if there is a one good hotel, poor know that they can only look from outside, they cannot enter. So they know the only rich eat there. So what do? We have idea, the rich, the poor, the educated, the uneducated, illiterate, the small, the big, they will all come together. They will eat together. They will read. They will have some wisdom together, and they will also sing together. And then there's a session where they come and they share their story. So last time I remember when I was in Nagpur, there was a young girl. I mean, she must be around 15 or 16 year old, and she was hesitating. And when she came, she just cried for 15 minutes before even speaking a word. But when she spoke about her life, it was inspiring, I must say, for me and for many other. The way she is struggling and she did the things, and this is how we want to make this platform for for sharing, paying together for, and this is the wisdom. This is the idea that how in the community we create this space where community feels okay. We are actually belongs to each other. There is no IS officer, there is no peon here. Everyone are equal. There is no sahib here. Generally, our educated people have this tendency of people rendering them with different, a connotation with sahib, with this, and people think, like people should welcome them with that, you know, with big honor and all this thing. We don't want that, and we tell our people, if you are expecting this, don't come here. We don't do that here. We create here community where we who has this sense of equality. So this one program which we believe will transform the ground, which will actually, more than transforming the ground, we believe this will actually create the ground, which we think we don't have it. We simply have the public infrastructure. We know there is a Ambedkar statue, but and then we also have a blame, and the blame goes to the working class. Okay, see the ye aadmi daru pita, they are poor because of their poverty. They are poor because of their habit. They are uneducated because they do not have will to educate. So these are the arguments which mostly ruling class has used against the historical. So Harshita, how much time I'm left with?
We are good. We have 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes. Oh, cool. Thank you. So so there is this habit of blaming poor for poverty. Like for instance, and these are the common unscientific argument that any ruling class has used. In US, the white has used against the blacks for any reformation, and in India we know Apaka generally use this for Dalits and other people, that they are backward because they don't have will to study, while criticizing reservation and so on. But within our community also we see the middle class that we have, they also somehow blame the community for their poverty, or they occasionally participate. For instance, all talks from Baba Sahib birth to his Prabuddha Bharat vision, everything happens on 14 April, right? On that month, people come, give talk, and poor are burden, I believe, because I come from slum. I know some Babu will come on 14 April from outside. He will come and tell the poor, oh, you take bath, you do this, you wear good clothes, and then he will go back because but he will, when he will go back, he will buy clothes for his children. He will have a good infrastructure to keep maintain his place, but he knows that they don't have it, but he will not do anything else. But his duty, he thinks, just to speak, come and give lecture and go back, right? So we know, and this is not about one exceptional case. This has become a culture for our larger middle class majority, and we actually somehow trying to break that. We educated from working class Dalit background, we are trying to break that, and we believe that ultimately it is us who understand this and who can build something on ground, and we are trying to do this. So there are two programs, as I said. One is CUT or other entrance exam, that is one. Other is Sunday for Ambedkar, and third we are going to launch after our training program. So we go have a training program in Nagpur on 14th and 15th. After that, we are going to go for our mission with one more program, that is basically we are trying to build a link. If you guys also can help, please let me know. We are trying to build a link with some countries. Specifically, now we have identified Japan, where we want to send of our let's say 10th pass, 12th pass boys and girls for a work, because here they are finding a lot of difficulties. Anyway, when I say working class, if you go to Mumbai, Pune or elsewhere, it's mostly SC, ST, OBC and landless OBCs who form the larger part of informal economy, service economy, from your काम वाली बाई to your factory worker or puncher wala. They belong to SC, ST, OBC and nomadic tribe. So what we are trying to do, we know this is not going to change everything, but this will at least create one, let's say one generation of people, or let's say one group of people who will have a different life and who can bring some change in the ground. So we are trying to build this course for a skill where we want to train people, let's say in the popular sense, for blue collar job, because I believe the blue collar job people create community, like Punjabi working class Dalit Sikhs, they created very vibrant community in US, unlike Buddhist community. They are not in that way because they would mostly go for higher end job. The working class people, wherever they go, they create community. So we believe that these working class Dalits, they will go, if they go to country like Japan or elsewhere, they will create the community, and they have a more need to be together. So they will, of course, will create a community. That is the idea. So that course we will start in coming 3 or 4 months. I'm still trying for a good link, for a good network. I'm still trying for some resources. Yes, so this is all about Savitribai Phule Research Center and these three major activity. And as I said, we actually work with the multi-prong approach. We jump from one place to another. We do not sit at one place. Our idea, it should create the network at of these places at the ground. And as I said, we have a dream. End of 2026, we want to have Savitribai Phule Resource Center in every district, at least first every district in Maharashtra. One last thing, we are also now entering in Bihar. We recently started our online classes, but in coming 2 3 months, we are going to have a physical center in Bihar in 2 3 places. We also have started working in Odisha and Assam. So yes, so this is all about SRC. If you have any question, anything, comment, please go ahead. Thank you, Arshita, and thank you, everyone. JaiBhim.
Thank you, Dr. Rahul. We can now take up the questions. If you have questions, you can put them either in the chat box, I can read them out, or you can raise your hand and I can ask you to unmute. Um,
We have a question from Dr. Jagannath.
I'm
Thank you very
asking.
much, JaiBhim, Namo Bodhaya. Rahul Bhai, it was a very focused and very informative. Compliments and congratulations for wonderful work done. I have 4 to 5 observations to make. Number one is, you see, you mentioned media mafia, corporate democracy. This is the word you used. Media mafia, corporate democracy. Am I right? Okay. See, as an infodemic manager in WHO, infodemic refers to misinformation and disinformation. I hope you are following me, Rahulji.
Yes, yes, I'm completely following you. Please go ahead.
So, my quick observation is, if so, if the media mafia, corporate democracy is active. See, recently I saw a movie Phule in our Bahurupi Baba Saheb cultural festival at Mysore. Very recently we had a wonderful thing. Phule movie I saw, Savitribai Phule. See, I got one clue from that. That is, if the ruling power is using information, what they do? Savitribai, what they do? They get the information that your enabling is possible by only yourself. Enabling the community to take care of its well-being is the essence of sustainable development. I hope I'm able to convey some meaning to you. This is not mine. It is IUCN, UNEP, and WWF 1991 philosophy, which is the forerunner for UNCED and SDG and all those things. So if it is difficult, I can talk in Hindi or, if English is okay, I'll communicate. This is the first point. That is, in summary, infodemic, if it is ruling the deprived and the untouchables, and
I'm
great.
sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Professor, but can you please keep the questions to the brief? Can you please come to the question?
I think I will not ask any question, because if a discussion or a dialogue is not possible, and if you are time conscious, I've got 5 points. I will do this way. I will take the email from our speaker, learned speaker, and try to communicate. Because what is happening, we get bogged down by our own limits. Time constraint is one. Please.
I do
Yeah.
understand the time constraint, but we also want to give the space for everybody who is present on the
See,
call.
I'm raising an issue which hundreds of people will have in mind. I'm not the only one person talking about it.
I definitely think we could do a
let us not
session with the speaker.
digress the issue.
Harita, it's okay. Dr.
I'm
Jagannath.
not even communicating
thanks,
one point. You're coming in the way. What is this here?
No, Professor Dr. Jagannath, thanks. Long time after we are meeting. But yeah, it's okay. You can continue, but at the same time,
I'll cut
because
short
it is
now.
not just.
I will continue. I'll cut short now.
Yeah, please.
At the outset, it's a
Yeah,
nice
continue. And
presentation. It's a very good account, sir. It's a good account. I have got 4 or 5 points. I'll communicate to you. Kindly share your email. In summary, what I want to tell, it's a good practice. But a reactive approach is not going to pay you much rewards. The proactive, community enabling, I have got so many points that you can do. Infodemic is one. Take the information to community for enabling, and say, for example, a last point I want to tell you. Climate impacts are so many. States are responding. In Karnataka, for example, 31,000 crores is the 24-25 compensation given to the farmers, and our Dalit community is depending on this. They go migration, human trafficking, so many things. So my my last sentence is, kindly look at enabling the community and live through infodemic. Infodemic is misinformation, disinformation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so Harshita, I'm supposed to answer this right now, or should we take a few more questions and then go together?
No, you can go
If
ahead.
you can do it, because don't mix up. Because see, I'm concentrating my observation. It will be very useful to everybody, for me and you, everybody.
Okay, fine. So yeah, no, thank you, Professor, for your observation. Yeah, I agree. Like about your comment on misinformation and information. Uh, as far as our movement is concerned, we are not reactory. We are very much in a proper. We are doing a movement in very conscious way. If we would have been it just simply reactory, or let's say we are doing our movement in a reaction, so we would have first have taken a road like what other people usually do. They would come on the street, give slogans, and go back next day. They do not know that, and that is also important. I'm not saying that is not important, but next day they don't know what to do. But rather, we are building very conscious, cadre-based kind of organization. So yes, taking your point of and answering your question, that is one thing. As far as climate change and all this is concerns, I guess there are people who are working on it. I'm not very sure how many people are working on that. But yes, as far as climate change is concerned, we in our Ambedkar Chronicle, we have a whole, one issue on the caste and climate change. So there we have dealt academically on that issue. If you want, you can see on our website. But as far as when it comes to activism on ground or building ground, I guess, as I said, the poor people, for them, it doesn't matter at all. For them, what matter is everyday bread and butter, the safety and the education and other basic needs which they lack. Or so yes, therefore we are not concentrating on that particular aspect. But of course, you take my email ID. If you have more comment,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
observation, you're most welcome. I'll
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
give
very
my
much. Yeah, there's a
email
lot to
ID.
learn from you. Thank you very much, Rahul. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much.
Kindly share his email if you can.
Sure. Paneer Selvam, can you unmute and ask your question?
Madam, kindly share the email if you can.
Yeah,
So,
we'll share you with you, Dr.
Sanjay
Jagannath.
sir will share the email.
Yeah.
Good evening, doctor.
Yeah, good evening. I guess.
Hello.
Yeah, I can't hear you very clearly.
Actually, I am Paneer Selvam from Pondicherry.
Oh yes, I can now. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, Pondicherry. First time I have joined this meeting. So I had heard about this institution. About the friends are there studying in Pondicherry University and across the Hyderabad and all over India. So recently I have done a PhD in political science. I have searched and US. So I'm a Dalit. Can you guide me to how to study in Boston and other institution, the abroad institution? My first question. The second question is, do you have any expansion this cultural institution Pondicherry in across Tamil Nadu? That's it.
Yeah. No, thank you, brother. No, as of now, we don't have any operation in any southern state, but in future, definitely we are
Mm,
planning. We are
mm.
not able to find people, there who can work with us, but we are in a process. I am hoping that in coming future, we will definitely find good people and we can start our work there. As far as helping you or for your abroad education, definitely you take my number. We help students to basically and support them to find out good institutions, scholarships, and other things for education in foreign universities. So yes, we'll talk. I'll give my number.
Yes.
Like yeah. So yes, I'll leave my number in the message
Uh-huh.
in the end of this meeting. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Arif, you are next. You can ask your question.
Okay. Thank you, Harita, and JaiBhim, everybody. JaiBhim, Dr. Sonpimple, and thank you so much for joining and sharing the details of this amazing initiative you have been handling. You have been doing. My just question is that how do you think groups abroad can support your work in terms of, I mean, what is your sort of arrangement? I mean, can you accept donations from abroad, or do you have like some specific package that, okay, if you want to sponsor one SRC, then you have to, this is the amount and things like that. So just how we can support you.
Yeah. No, that's very nice of you directly coming and talking about supporting. I'm really glad. So yes, so as of now, we have a registered body where we have account and we take money, we do auditing and so on. But as of now, we are not able to receive as such organized fund from abroad, because for that you need FCRA, and now in India FCRA has become another politics. Only the right leaning organizations are able to get FCRA. Other organization, they are saying okay, if they are working with marginless community, they don't want that they get any support from there. So we can find alternate way. I mean, like for instance, if there are people to whom you trust personally, you can transfer them or to their organization, and then they can visit us, look, see our work, and then they support us in that way. So that could be one thing. One important thing where, as I said, we will require more support, and I am also going to be campaigning for that, is basically we want to start SRC in the interior region of Vidarbha and Marathwada, focusing on that. So, what are those interior regions? For instance, I don't know if you have heard about Medghat. In Amravati, Medghat. So, Medghat is known for the malnutrition. So, and they are mostly scheduled caste and scheduled tribe women. Not just the children are malnourished, but the women are malnourished. You know, uh, and mostly any ruling party or opposition party, they would go and dance with tribes during election with that making the traditional tribal dance. But when it comes to, and that question is also has to do with the larger political economy there. So NGOs are there who take fund grant from the government. Scholars take scholarship, write their thesis and go back. But ultimately there is no mobilization on the ground which can actually begin something for a long lasting change. So there we are working now. We just started, interacting with local activists and trying to build network there. So we have identified such few places in Vidarbha and in Marathwada where such condition exists in very rampant way. So in those cases, if we directly get, like, for instance, for one center in, let's say, Medghat, if people like you who directly come and say, okay, this is the budget. So generally for our East Center, uh, on an average to run one center monthly, we require around 1.5 lakh. And that's we generate, as I said, with the local communities, with the local support and support from other people who are ready to contribute, right? But generally our teams with Jhola, they go everywhere. Like, like the way Buddhist monk would ask for dan, we would also ask for 1 rupees, 2 rupees, and we are trying to build. Sometimes we lack, not the sometimes, most of the time we lack to do things. So we have to, but in general, if I tell you, so uh, on an average to run one center very smoothly, helping some students sometime financially and so on, we require 1 to 1.5 lakh. So this is, but now, but fortunately
Sorry,
we got a good
that
thing.
1 to
So
1.5 lakh is per month.
yeah, for one center.
And how
So
many centers we have so far? So I missed the earlier part.
yeah, so now total functional center we have around 11 centers. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so we try to get more things from the local communities so that we don't have to depend upon any big donor or the sponsor. So that's how. But what happens initially, in initial phase you require push, right? I mean, for instance, let's say now we got a 2 days training program. Unless and until you do not train people, you do not categorize them. Even people have will to work, but if they do not know how to work, they may not work nicely. So for all this training, for some infrastructure, for all these people, they requires a one time investment, right? So for one center which I was thinking in Melghat, if for that we can talk, and we can begin something new there, that will be great help for us, because there the community lacks. Community itself cannot give anything. Here at least where we are working, here community can give some contribution. That idea doesn't exist. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Vinod Kumar, you can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you. JaiBhim Rahul bhai. JaiBhim Sanjay sir.
JaiBhim.
JaiBhim and Namo Buddhai. I have Rahul bhai, would you like to take one, kind of political question?
Yes, yes, of course. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I have seen like you were potentially speaking about the grassroots mobilization of SC/ST communities, especially in the states where where like kind of Andhra Pradesh, and then I mean this is where the high mobilization happened, and then of course Uttar Pradesh and other states. So we do have come across the political success of UP, but whereas we have certainly failed in the states like, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. I was also seeing, like you were also speaking about, going to the community, and the rural communities, they just like, bread and butter. So I just wanted to understand whose responsibility is to go to the community and bring awareness about the political participation, especially in the states. I'm pretty sure that the dominant communities in these states, especially like in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, they are associated with the ruling caste. I mean, ruling political power, right? Like in BJP, like in and Congress again. So, how do we see these? How do we imagine the political power when our own the millionaire, lower caste millionaires? I'm saying lower caste millionaires are being part of these governments, and then on the other hand, we don't have the grassroots level people doesn't have power. How do we understand this? I mean, this aspect.
No, yeah. I mean, this is not simply in like in Telangana or Andhra, I guess. Uh, this has become, this phenomena exists in almost all states in India, right?
Right.
So there is also the class character which goes. I mean, you spoke about Dalit millionaires or there are very few though. There are not many. You know, I don't. I haven't met any very big businessman from Dalit community. There are, I know, few. But yes, as I said, there also exists then the class character, which comes with the community. I mean, for any business or even for your job, so-called good job, I guess you have to have the undeclared agreement with the ruling regime, where you cannot go beyond them or go against them, right? So I do not have much hope even from them, and because they would fall or they would line up with the people who could help them to grow more personally in terms of their economy or business and so on. So what left with is with us with the majority of our community people who, as I said, are working, in living in poverty or depend upon other people. Like they are mostly landless laborers or informal. They work in the informal economy in urban area and so on. I guess, like during 80s, we know 70s, 80s when Kanshiram Saab used this idea of like Bahujan. There also the majority of people who would actively part of the movement were scheduled caste, employed scheduled caste. Uh, and if you interestingly, find the communication between then the Kanshiram Saab and Khapade Saab, one of the founder of BAMSEP, along with Kanshiram Saab. So Kanshiram really wanted to transform the BAMSEP as not as he wanted to transform BAMSEP from employee organization to the frontal mass based organization where there but and then many people had a lot of reservation because government employee they do not want to come on street, they do not want to be seen, because they are completely depend upon the state or so. But yes, at least with Kanshiram Saab for some time there were people who could help his movement by contributing money or even the intellectual power because they were educated. Now post 90s, even the number of government employees have decreased. So even the organization like BAMSEP cannot sustain, because if the number of government employees have decreased, and in very big way, not in a small way, there is no new generation of people who are into the secure government job who could fund the movement by their from their salary and other things. So now, as I said, post 90 situation has really changed, and people can cannot go with the same imagination anymore. We need to have a different imagination, and that imagination lies mostly in the ground, where, as I said, you can lack everything, but what we cannot lack is basically the committed, honest, mobilization, right? If we do that committedly, honestly on the ground, I guess we can build a movement. I mean, the one last thing I'll add in my answer and then stop. Even with, as I said, as I spoke about the difference between Kapade and Kanshiram Saab. when he formed DS4, Dalit Sanghas Socialist Samiti, you see the people around him who were leading the movement at ground. They were mostly, people from villages, from, working class background. As I said, mostly government employee, they did not choose to. I mean, some people definitely worked with him. They left even government job. Those who did, but majority did not, right? So what happened when he reached to the ground? Then only he started building change through first DS4 and then 1984 he formed BSP, right? So his base was also initially scheduled caste. Although he spoke about Bahujan, but for longer run, even if you look at the electoral number, so there has not been very sustained electoral number by other non-Dalit communities. The BSP got that time, but not in very huge number. That's why I believe Bahenji Mayawati had to shift from Bahujan to Sarvajan and get the new community in the electoral run, which is a Brahmin community. And then she started holding this Brahmin Sammelan and so on. Again, I don't want to go into this major political discussion and debate because that is another topic altogether. But yes, I believe that the Kanshiram strategy of mobilizing the ground, I guess we need to revisit it again. We cannot simply rely on this small petty negotiation. We have to now once again build a movement, and for that, the going on ground, creating ground, categorizing, mobilization, and more than anything, for all these things, what we need is a bigger sacrifice, right? Which our present leadership lack, which our present organization lack, because they mostly want to do the safe thing, I guess. So yeah, yes, Sanjay, thank you. No, sorry, who was the question? Vinod
Vinod
bhai, thank
Yeah.
you.
Kumar.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have our next question. Sanjay sir, you can end. You can unmute to ask your question.
Oh, sorry, I was speaking on. I thought that I unmute. Yeah, thank you, Rahul, for this commendable work. We all understand that needs a lot of dedication, hard work, and the time to run the organization like that. And since you are expanding to so many places within Maharashtra, we can understand how much efforts you may be putting in this one. So thank you very much for doing this. So in the beginning, and before I'm asking questions, so please let us know anytime you need any help. We cannot meet at the organization level, but definitely at the personal level, we'll be able to help some way or the other, as Arif told you. So my question is, in the beginning, you said that basically you are concentrating more on the scheduled cost or something like. So this particular endeavor, what you are running, whether it is limited to other scheduled caste, or that is also anyone from the scheduled tribe, or even from the OBC community is willing to come there and want to take the advantage of whatever the offerings you are doing, correct? Whether they are allowed, that is one thing, and whether you get the support from these communities also for volunteering also, whether they are all volunteering for providing the support. That is one question. And another thing is, within this scheduled caste community is also, means based on my observation, but it was long time back, it was limited to only the Mahar community, or at that time, that is how they properly known as, or the Buddhist community, who has taken advantage of the educations and everything, and naturally that's resulted into the job. And other communities like Mang, Mehetar, and all these, that is what the community at that time were known, didn't take that advantage, and they remain still with the in the back, or not gaining the status as the Buddhist community got. So whether you see the same trend when it comes to volunteering in your organization, or taking advantage of whatever you are offering to this Dalit community. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Sanjay bhai. Uh, No, of course, I mean, ISCA is uh, scheduled caste organization for scheduled caste by scheduled caste. But SRC is not limited to only scheduled caste. It is uh, for all the marginalized communities. So I guess in our first batch, there were OBCs also, there were NT also, and now still in Gadchiroli we are working mostly with Adivasi students. So yes, and in our some center there are also students from Muslim background. So we are not limit. We are then as I said, SRC is for everyone. Your other question, I guess I'm missing. Can you repeat it once again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so within the just scheduled caste community, whether the
Oh, with the
people
subcaste
other than the
question.
Mahar or the Buddhist community is
Yeah,
basically
yeah, yeah,
participating in the volunteering
yeah,
or the taking advantage of this.
yeah. So yeah, that is a good question, and we have taken a conscious efforts and conscious decision how to even move beyond the, let's say, the Mahar Buddhist community, and how to cater or get people from another major scheduled caste community, which is the Matang community, and then slowly going among Door community, and then there are Valmikis and other communities. So that is our approach, and that is why the ISCA's Maharashtra president comes from Matang community. And even our centers, we train our coordinators in a way where we focus and ask them to get more students from specifically now, at least now from Matang community. And we are also working with some Matang young leader and also organization so that we can also support them and they can actually help us to intervene into the community. So we are taking that conscious effort. So that is one thing. As far as OBC is concerned, no. I mean, OBC don't feel that they need, I mean, like in bigger way, they don't feel any need to come to these centers. Uh, I mean, they have a different force who is managing them very nicely, and they're happy about it because that gives a sense of power. Other, let's say, categorized or let's say Ambedkarite OBC, there are few individuals who come, who supports us. But as such, when we intervene in the community, we do not find much support from them. Not that we do not want to interact or work with them, but ultimately they think they have at least sufficient thing for them. They have everyday hate to have a strong emotion. They have a Hindu Muslim issue everyday life. For them, education doesn't matter. Like for instance, if we are working in Nagpur and we really wanted to work with Halba Kosti community, which is one other. You may like people from Nagpur, they may know about this, right? So I got some good friend from Halba Kosti community who are Ambedkarite, and we wanted to work in their area, which is close to my area also. So we tried a lot. So of course they don't have Buddha Vihara in there, so they have Samaj Bhavan, and we try to do some work there. But yes, that work was counted by another organization known, the organization from Nagpur, uh, RSS people. They intervened there. Their people found out we are working, and they very politely asked us to get out from there. Uh, so that is one challenge, which now we don't want to go into confrontational mode with them as such, unless and until we do not have enough force on the ground, which we want to build ultimately. Uh, so yes, so that problem occurs when you start working in their area like this. Yeah,
Thanks, Rahul.
yeah. Thank you.
Anil Wagde, you can unmute and ask your question.
JaiBhim, Rahul.
JaiBhim, sir.
So just wanted to announce that I will contribute 50,000 towards the effort.
Yes,
And
thank you, sir.
those who are interested in contributing, since Rahul doesn't have FCRA, folks, if you are interested in contributing, get in touch with me, and we
Yes,
can work to make sure that Rahul gets the money in India. Thanks, Rahul. I'll
Thank
transfer.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. Means a lot. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Any
I think we have no more. We can close if you want.
Yeah.
Sorry, Harita. Just I wanted to. So thank you, Mr. Vagre. How can we get in touch with you? Does anybody have your contact?
I have their contact, Arif.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Harita, we can close now. I don't see any more questions in the chat box. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Rahul, for joining us today and talking about your mission and vision of the organization. On behalf of Boston Study Group, we try to engage in meaningful discussions that inspire positive change in our society. Whether you're a scholar, activist, student, or a concerned citizen, your participation is invaluable in furthering Dr. Ambedkar's vision of more just, equitable, and inclusive world. On behalf of Boston Study Group, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude for everyone who joined in today's Ambedkar lecture series. We hope that the knowledge shared during the lecture has inspired you. If you have any questions or need any additional information about the lecture series, you can also visit Awaken BSG Digital Magazine. Any further way to contact our guest today, Dr. Rahul, you can also reach out for further questions at contact us at bostonstudygroup.com. We look forward to welcoming you all to future events. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day and night. JaiBhim.
Thank you,
JaiBhim.
Harita.